Hello, I'm Quartermuncher. Welcome to the Quartermuncher experience, where I play RPGs I've put off for too long. This may come as no surprise to you as somebody who plays RPGs, but I am a nerd. Specifically, I am a huge Digimon nerd. I grew up with it as a child, I got the action figures and everything. This also means I played some of the video games, and the new release of Digimon Story Time Stranger, well, I'm no stranger to that. It came out on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC with the Switch 2 release in the works. I played the PlayStation 5 version of the game, and again, I'm playing it because I'm a huge Digimon nerd. Alright, with that said, this is not a review, this is a journey. Let me tell you about the Quartermuncher experience. Digimon Story Time Stranger was developed by Mediavision Inc. and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. It's the 7th entry in the Digimon Story series, which focuses more on delivering an actual story as opposed to being a virtual pet. Players can choose between a male or female protagonist at the beginning of the game, better known as Dan or Kanan Yuki, and they can switch the visual appearance of the character later on. The unchosen character acts as the player's operator from the future. Time Stranger is set across two parallel worlds, the human world, specifically Tokyo landmarks like Shinjuku and Akihabara, and the digital world known as Iliad. Key characters include the protagonist, the operator, Inoru Misono and her partner Agumon, that is actually the main characters of the game arguably, and the key one for this game is the Olympus 12, as well as the opposing faction of the Titans. The lore of this game involves investigating a catastrophe that destroys the world in 2028, knocks the protagonist back in time to about 2020 to change its fate and investigate what happened. Towns in Time Stranger tend to be more collections of people and shops, and Digimon or humans, rather than full-blown, towns. Excluding, in Japan, in which case your places like Akihabara and whatnot are actually towns. Meanwhile, in the human world, there aren't particularly any dungeons. On the flip side of things, the digital world does include dungeons, which are mostly field type of dungeons. Volcano, etc. Digimon Story Time Stranger is a single-player monster-collecting RPG with a deep system for raising and customizing Digimon. The gameplay cycle for Digimon Story Time Stranger is not unlike every other RPG out there. You go to a town, there's some story, it'll send you out to a dungeon where you go and engage in battles. The battles are quick, dynamic, engaging, a decent test of skill. It's fairly basic turn-based, and battles are, again, quick and snappy. As far as progression goes in Digimon Story, it depends heavily on what they call the personality mechanic. Different personalities boost the growth of specific stats and grant personality skills in battle, and you gain experience to use on a skill tree to develop certain emotions. Players can influence their Digimon's personality to meet specific stat requirements for specific Digivolutions. This being a Digimon game, Digivolution is how you stay current. You usually have a selection of which Mons you can evolve into or not. If you don't meet the requirements, you don't get to evolve. Simple as that. The main gameplay also delivers both main story quests and side quests as its main deliverer of the story.
Do I really have to
Digimon Story Time Stranger uses a cel-shaded art style described as anime-inspired, which looks great visually and is highly detailed. This adds to the presentation, which includes good ambience, detailed environments, and impressive cinematics, especially for a game called Digimon Story. As far as technical performance is concerned, it generally runs well with good performance and few bugs. The music features a variety of tracks, including a number of J-pop-like tunes, atmospheric music, as well as some songs that have meaningful lyrics in French, Latin, and other languages. Voice acting, which is in English and Japanese, is generally good, but some cutscenes are only partially voiced, or the player character is unvoiced, which can lead to some, inconsistency. In my playthrough of Digimon Story Time Stranger, I simply played it from beginning to end. It's a fairly linear JRPG. Near the end, you get the ability to go back in time through various points in the game, both 8 years before and in the present/future, and I used this to grind some of the side quests I'd missed in order to unlock Mega level Digimon, but I didn't play any through the main game, so that one's on me. Now it's time for some likes and dislikes. One thing that I liked, maybe even loved, was the story. I've grown up with the Digimon franchise. I could tell you which seasons are good and not so good, and then this one has the most gripping, twisting writing I've seen in the entry by a mile. I also like the visual style of this game. The environments look great, the characters look great. There is nothing wrong with the way the game looks. One thing I disliked was monster raising. This is mostly due to me being hands-off with the element, but I recall doing a lot more raising and farming and whatnot in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. They changed a lot of it, maybe for the better, maybe not so much. I was just able to play the game from A to B, evolving who I had acquired from the get-go without having to use it. I also dislike this game's boss battles. Once again, I grew up with Digimon, and a lot of that, plus its age-old rivalry with the more family-friendly Pokemon, may give you the impression that this is an easy game. But then you start hitting the boss fights, and it's a significant difficulty spike up from, regular enemies in the same dungeon. But each and every one of them is just about a huge spike in difficulty in general, and it's not fun for me. The best part of Digimon Story Time Stranger is the selection of Digimon they have here. Sure, your starters are mostly from the original Digimon Adventure, and the cast does get deep with about 450 Digimon to collect, but among them they have the 3 starters from Digimon World 3 in here as well. That's a deep cut, and I love it. The worst part of Digimon Story Time Stranger is the lack of seemingly original monsters for the game. I'm comparing this to Digimon World 3, which came out in 2003, and in that game, you had 3 teams of starters, each with 2 mons from seasons 1 through 3, and an original one first seen in the game. Sure, you have Agiomon and a few bosses here and there, but it's not as personal as a starter.
Hey, long time no speak.
Alright, by the numbers, Digimon Story Time Stranger has over 450 Digimon to collect. You have 3 in battle to use, plus a guest character or 2. You have 4 levels of Digimon evolution. That's Rookie, Champion, Ultimate, and Mega from the dub, and I'm not counting side ones like Mega Plus. In this digital world, it's all about the Olympus 12, but in the end, I cleared the game with level 35 Mega Digimon at about 35 hours. In the meantime, I'm Quartermuncher. Thanks, that's all for the Quartermuncher experience, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ta!